Not in the mood today, but you got to do what you got to do. We got week 6 coming up. It's going to be some good football, as there is every Saturday. But let's just get right into it. Actually, tonight we got a good game. What is it? Number 19, Kansas State, being hosted by Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's look like buns this year, but they were putting it together on offense last week. I forget the name of their quarterback's name, but I think they have the outside chance of pulling the upset because they're mad from last year. They got blown out like 48-0, and they're mad. Their season's virtually over from all the stupid losses they've had, the Cowboys. So, but at the same time, Kansas State are good. Their losses to a pretty good Mizzou team. So, my pick, Oklahoma State. I'm not going to spend much time on it, but because we got other stuff to talk about. But we were just talking Mizzou. Let's keep on going. They're hosting LSU at noon tomorrow. What do we think about the game? LSU's favorite. They got 2 losses. Mizzou, squeaky clean. Clean as a whistle, undefeated. I know the books. Okay, I run a book. LSU's pissed after that loss to Ole Miss. But here's the thing about LSU. They got 2 losses. I think we already talked about this, huh? They lost to Florida State, good team. They lost to Ole Miss, could be a good team. What if they run the table the rest of the way? It means they're beating Bama, they're beating A&M, they're beating Auburn. I think Auburn's half decent. LSU's going to be playing with a fire under their ass against Mizzou. And even though Mizzou's the higher ranked team, whatever that means, I think LSU's got it. I think Jaden Daniels is a legend. And if they had any sort of secondary on defense, LSU would be top 5 in the nation because they wouldn't have lost that game to Ole Miss. They would have been more competitive against Florida State, who is a very good team. So I'm taking LSU to win. I think they're favored by like a couple points. Why not cover 2? Why not? You degenerates. We got another game at noon. We'll get to that. I'm excited about that. I'm not in that great a mood now, but talking about that game might turn me over. You know, it is Friday after all. But we got a couple of good 3:30 games. What have we got? Number 14, Washington State going to UCLA, the Bruins. Now, the Bruins, they got beat by Utah, which I was surprised by, personally. I think, but because I think UCLA's got a good team. There's no such thing as home field advantage for UCLA. They just don't. Any LA college football fan that didn't go to UCLA, they're going with Southern Cal. And the Rose Bowl is not in LA; it's in Pasadena. So don't come at me with home field advantage. It's not there. At the same time, Washington State. You know what? Washington State outright wins it. I don't know who's favored or not. I know Washington State's ranked. I know UCLA isn't, but the books don't care about rankings. Why do I pick that? Do a little look-see what that little douche Pat McAfee did on College Game Day. It got back to Washington State. For those of you that don't know, Washington State has had a streak of like close to 300 College Game Days where their flag's waving. Washington State's been buns most of that time, but they got a passionate, rabid fan base, and Pat McAfee attacked them personally. That's from right in there. You can't get any more motivation from within. Washington State wins this game because there's not really much going on in the home field advantage problem for UCLA. I think they're a good team, but I think Washington State's got a fire under their ass. They're undefeated. They got good wins. It's the last year of the Tupac. I'll go with Washington State. Why not? But another great story is the University of North Carolina is hosting Syracuse. They just lost to Clemson. We knew that was going to happen. This game is going to be a blowout. This game is going to be a blowout. Stamp it. Put it away. Why am I saying this? Blowout by UNC. Syracuse doesn't have a promise. Why is this going to be a blowout? For those of you that haven't been paying attention to this, Tez Walker is the name of this wide receiver from. He went to some small NAIA FCS bullshit thing, and then transferred to Kent State, and balled out at Kent State. But he's from North Carolina, so he transferred to North Carolina. The first school he was at, the reason he left is they didn't have a football season because of COVID. And then I think he medically redshirted, and he got the waiver to play when he transferred to UNC. And then 5 days later, the NCAA implemented new rules after he had all done this shit. And then they're like, you know what? Even though you played by the rules we gave you at the time, fuck yourself. You don't get the waiver. You got to sit out a year. And then after the old dead presidents helped out by UNC, at least that's what I think, Tez Walker's got the next 7 games. Tez Walker's getting 200 whatever yards. It doesn't matter. They're blowing out Syracuse. Syracuse, don't take it personally. It's just, it's a matter of fact. UNC has their boy. It's a home game. Could be homecoming. I don't know. UNC blows it out. The favorite by 9.5. Take a minus, I don't know, 30.5. They'll still beat it. Prove me wrong. Another 3:30 game to CBS 3:30 game. Number 8 Alabama at number 18 A&M. A&M's got 1 loss. That's to Miami, an orange team. And Bama's got 1 loss to Texas, an orange team. What is it with these SEC red teams losing to non-con orange teams? That was a joke. You're allowed to laugh. Why are you laughing? It was a joke. Anyway, I've been thinking about this game for a week, and I got nothing. I think A&M lost Connor Wegman, right? The quarterback for the season. But I forget the backup's name. He's not like some Slim Jim 18-year-old backup from some military academy in Foxborough, Georgia. No, he played. He just got replaced. So this guy, I can't remember his name, sue me. I got started early today. It's Friday. But Bama knows that they got angry Nick back, angry Nick Saban's back. Bama, A&M. I think it's a coin flip. I don't know. I think it's like a 1-point game. It's pretty even. Kyle Field. We were talking about home field advantage earlier, right? Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, is going to be 1 billion times whatever home field UCLA has. This is big. The last time A&M hosted Bama, they won. A&M was underdogs by 20-some points, and they won it on a last-minute field goal. Crowd went nuts. First time you and I ever met, I was said, go to a place where the people there love the game as much as you do. And I was standing around 110,000 people in Beaver Stadium. You know what else gets 110,000 people with a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of fans that are as passionate about the sport as you and I? Kyle Field. I've made the decision right now. A&M wins. I got no pulse. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm taking A&M solely because of Kyle Field. And you people know my feelings on the Alabama Crimson Tide. We got some night games, and then we're going to finish with the great. Kentucky's going to Georgia, okay? Kentucky, Kentucky I think is ranked in the AP. I don't give a fuck about the AP. Number 9 Georgia is hosting Kentucky. Number 9 in my rankings. We talked about this earlier. Keys to the game. Block Brock Bowers. You block Brock Bowers and have a pulse on offense, you win the game. That's the rules, Kentucky. And my prediction, Kentucky doesn't do that. It's Georgia. The great thing about Kentucky is they're a basketball school. They're getting better and better at football, but they have this crazy thing. They're an SEC school that has reasonable expectations of the football team. No other SEC schools like that. I mean,
Mark Stoops has the job. You're getting that SEC bankroll. That bankroll that I'm tapped into, by the way. We're not going to discuss that. You got that SEC bankroll, and you have reasonable expectations. Kentucky's undefeated. Even if they lose to Georgia, all of their goals are ahead of them. All of Kentucky's goals are make it to a big bowl game. You know, the Orange Bowl. You know, what is it? The Cotton Bowl maybe is the SEC. No, the Sugar Bowl is the SEC. Make it the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, Peach Bowl. Those are all SEC bowl games. That's Kentucky. Make it. Not even win it. Just make it. You know, it's building blocks. You know, but I still think Georgia's got it because of that Brock Bowers. That Brock Bowers is a freak. Now, if Brock Bowers breaks his ankle with 8 minutes left in the second half, we'll see. But Georgia wins. It's the biggest home game of the year for Georgia. Georgia schedules weak opponents. They don't play anybody, right? And their biggest rival being Florida, it's a neutral site game. So, you know, Georgia's a two-time national champion. Name an iconic home win they've had in those two. None. Asterisk. They're always playing these damn non-conference games, these bullshit non-conference games in the Georgia Dome or the Atlanta Falcons place, you know. So, and even though Georgia's in Athens and Georgia Tech is in Atlanta, no one cares about Georgia Tech anymore. It's all those Atlanta transplants from Athens. So, I mean, that's basically a home game. But actual Sanford Stadium, they don't have iconic games. So I have no idea what the home crowd is like at Sanford Stadium. Sorry, but I still take Georgia. It's just a matter of fact. We keep on talking about them, and I'm going to keep on talking about them until they force me not to. Number 11, Notre Dame, going to number 25, Louisville. I don't know if you guys were reading the comments in the other video, but some guy was asking me, is Washington this year's TCU? Let's talk about that. What do we mean by this year's TCU? TCU made it to the Natty completely out of nowhere last year. And the previous year, they had a different head coach. They were like 5-7. They weren't very good. They lost games they should have lost. They shouldn't have lost, and it was a weird team. But they came out of nowhere because their coach, Sonny Dykes, smart coach, utilized the portal, utilized who he had, and he had a great quarterback to take him the distance. And when the guy in the comments said, is Washington this year? No, Washington was good last year. They went like 10-2. They won their bowl game. They lost to Arizona State, which was a stupid loss, but Washington is not this year's TCU. We don't get a TCU, Cinderella, blah, blah, bullshit every year. But if we had to pick one this year, who would it be? I'd say Louisville for a couple of reasons. The main reason is they drew an incredibly favorable ACC schedule. No Florida State, no Clemson, no North Carolina. The heavy hitter in the ACC that they got to play is Miami. And at the beginning of the season, we didn't think Miami was a heavy hitter, you know. But are they undefeated? I think they're undefeated. But so that'll be a good game. And now look at the flip side of this matchup. Louisville's hosting Notre Dame. What has Notre Done the past 2 weeks? Lost on the final second to Ohio State at home, heartbreaker. And then last week, took the lead again with 45 seconds left in the game. Another heart-wrenching game. They won, but it was still heart-wrenching. And who does Notre Dame play next week? They host USC. Heart-wrench. I don't know how these Irish people do it, actually. Let me back that up. I know how they do it. They drink a shitload of Guinness and a shitload of Jameson. Maybe I'll get some Jameson after this one. I don't know. I'm probably going to need it by the end of I got a big day. I got a big day tomorrow. We'll discuss later. But my pick is Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not looking ahead. That's just not how they do it. They're not looking ahead to next week with USC. Louisville is going to be a ferocious environment, probably the biggest game since Lamar Jackson was there. But Notre Dame still takes it. That's my prediction. Final one that I want to talk before the big one. Fresno State is going to Wyoming. Fresno State undefeated, and I think they're probably like in the top 30 in the nation. Wyoming like 35. So we'll say 30, 35, right? And it's in prime time, 8 o'clock on Fox, Network Fox. You know, Fox booted TCU Iowa State for this game. So good for Fox, you know, for recognizing good football is good football. Doesn't matter the stupid patch right here What matters is who you play for, the school you play for. You put it right here. My pick, Fresno State. I love Fresno State. I don't know what it is about them. I think that's a poppin' color red. What was his name? Jake Hayner? Oof. That dude. That was a dude. Someday we'll talk about Jake Hayner, but I'll take Fresno State. I watched a couple of Fresno State, a little bit of Wyoming, but this is a pure, from the heart, Fresno State. Why not? But the game of the week. Number 6 versus number 1 in the Red River Shootout. Oklahoma versus Texas. And I said Red River Shootout, not showdown, not rivalry. I don't give a fuck about your stupid political correct bullshit. It is the Red River Shootout, because that's what these 2 teams do. They're run and gun, bang, 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 down the field, get a touchdown. I'll let you get a touchdown. I don't care. Go take a touchdown from me because I want to score another one. It's a Red River Shootout. It's at the Texas State Fair, in the Cotton Bowl, hot as hell. You got Big Tex waving at everybody. This is college football. They wanted to put this game in Jerry World in the future. They wanted to. It seems like they pulled back. But it's a neutral site game. It's in Texas. It's much closer to Austin than it is to Norman, Oklahoma. But half the bowl is crimson. The other half, burnt orange. What's my read on the game? Texas wins. Spoiler, Texas wins. But I don't know what the line is. After all, it's a top 6 matchup. If you want to call something a top 6 matchup for squares, but number 6 Oklahoma, number 1 Texas. Texas wins this game. Texas very well could win this national championship. If I were to pick right now who's the elite team, it's Texas. Because they have the most impressive win on the road. They went to Tuscaloosa until you got a team that has multiple impressive wins, because you got to build up a resume. That's Texas's biggest win. They got other wins. They're undefeated. Texas wins this game. This is a noteworthy game. It's a rivalry game. It's hot as hell. It means something. It's the farewell to the SEC. There's a lot going into this game. And at the end of the day, it's quarterbacks. That's what the Red River Shootout is. What do you do with your arm? You shoot the ball. Quinn Ewers versus Dillon Gabriel. It's Quinn Ewers. That dude is a legend. Well, this dude's young, so I'm not going to say legend. But Dillon Gabriel is like just below A+. Quinn Ewers is A+. Football is increasingly becoming a game of the quarterback. And the quarterback, and Red River Shootout especially, is a quarterback game. And it's Quinn Ewers. It just is. I think it's going to be a close game because, what was it, 3 years ago, huh? It went to like 5 overtimes, bang, bang, bang. I think it was Spencer Rattler. No. Yeah, Spencer Rattler. Wasn't it? Yeah, OU. Damn. Time flies when you're drinking. But Texas wins. And it's going to be awesome. Noon at the State Fair. I said earlier this year, that I was going to go to Notre Dame, Ohio State. Like I said, I know a guy that went to Notre Dame. He is my guy for Notre Dame tickets, but he couldn't get them for me, right? And by the time I found out he couldn't get them for me, it was too late to jump on OU Texas, because that's how it was this year, one or the other. And then, as it goes in my family, I got the short end of the stick. But I'm excited. It's a big Saturday slate, as it always is. I'll stop saying it's a big Saturday slate when it stops being a big Saturday slate. So go get some sleep. It's Friday. What does Friday mean in Latin? Go eat some pizza and go out dancing, okay? So, salud. We'll talk about whatever later in the week. Salud. Get out of here.